Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to 365 Days of Love and Miracles with A Course in Miracles. My name is Arlene Geres, and I'm so glad that you are here. Please remember to listen right until the very end, because we have a special treat for you. And if you enjoyed today's video, please click like and subscribe down below, because this helps others to find us on YouTube. Today's lesson is lesson number 69. My grievances hide the light of the world in me. No one can look upon what your grievances conceal, because your grievances are hiding the light of the world in you. Everyone stands in darkness, and you beside him. But as the veil of your grievances is lifted, you are released with him. Share your salvation now with him who stood beside you when you were in hell. He is your brother in the light of the world that saves you both. Let's talk about it. When we are hiding our light under any grievance at all, we're not only preventing ourselves from God's love, peace, joy, and happiness, but we prevent others from being able to access that place as well. When we shine our light, we light the whole world up with God's glory and God's beauty shining out of us. Let's keep on reading. Today, let us make another real attempt to reach the light in you. Before we undertake this in our more extended practice period, let us devote several minutes to thinking about what we are trying to do. We are literally attempting to get in touch with the salvation of the world. We are trying to see past the veil of darkness that keeps it concealed. We are trying to let the veil be lifted and to see the tears of God's Son disappear in the sunlight. Let's talk about it. We are asked to take a couple of minutes to think seriously about what we're trying to do. All of these lessons are encouraging us to continue to do our forgiveness work. This is important work, my friends. It's never ending. As I like to say, every time that something happens, there's another forgiveness opportunity. They present themselves to us over and over again. We are literally trying to get in touch with the salvation of the world. The salvation of the world is our unity with God and all of creation. Any time that we're holding a resentment of any kind, we're separating ourselves from that unity. We're saying, I'm different than you, and you've done something wrong. Therefore, I remove myself from the awareness of God's perfect love, joy, and peace. There's a veil standing between us and the rest of the world. A Course in Miracles is trying to help us to see past that veil. Imagine that veil has woven into it all the bits and pieces, all the different things that we think that you have done. That veil is very hard to see past, but just behind that veil is our Christ vision, where we literally see the Christ in each other. Are you willing to see the Christ in that person that you're holding a resentment against today? We want to lift that veil. We want to see the Christ in each other. Let's keep reading. Let us begin our longer practice period today with the full realization that this is so, and with real determination to reach what is dearer to us than all else. Salvation is our only need. There is no other purpose here, and no other function to fulfill. Learning salvation is our only goal. Let us end the ancient search today by finding the light in us and holding it up for everyone who searches with us to look upon and rejoice. Let's talk about it. This lesson is going to tell us over and over again that we not only do this work for ourselves, we are doing it for the entire world. When we let our light shine forth freely, we light the world up, my friends. Can you feel that within yourself? Can you feel that light just wanting to burst free? Let's hold our light up for the entire world to see. Our only purpose is to let that light shine, and when we do that, we are joining with God and with all of our brothers and sisters. And let's keep on reading. Very quietly now, with your eyes closed, try to let go of all the content that generally occupies your consciousness. Think of your mind as a vast circle surrounded by a layer of heavy dark clouds. You can see only the clouds because you seem to be standing outside the circle and quite apart from it. From where you stand, you can see no reason to believe there is a brilliant light hidden by the clouds. The clouds seem to be the only reality. They seem to be all there is to see. Therefore, you do not attempt to go through them and pass them, which is the only way in which you would be really convinced of their lack of substance. We will make this attempt today. Here comes my friend Susan sneaking up behind us. We're going to take a little break and have a little visit with her. That was a nice treat. Susan is a precious friend and swimming partner. We get together almost every single day and talk about the lesson of the day. Let's talk about this paragraph. Being that we are pure energy. We are not these bodies. I want you to really get this picture of your mind surrounded by thick clouds. And that energy, that beauty, that essence of who you are is trapped by those thick clouds. We cannot see beyond those clouds. Beyond this thick bank of clouds, there is a brilliant light that is just glorious. It's so beautiful and it's shining, but we can't see it because the clouds are so thick. And yet, the only way that we can reach that light is to trust that the light is there. God promises us that it's there. In our practice today, we are going to attempt to go past those clouds. Let's keep reading. After you have thought about the importance of what you are trying to do for yourself and the world, try to settle down in perfect stillness, remembering only how much you want to reach the light in you today. Now, determine to go past the clouds. Reach out and touch them in your mind. Brush them aside with your hand. Feel them resting on your cheeks and forehead and eyelids as you go through them. Go on. Clouds cannot stop you. We're going to put this idea into practice today. Once we finish the lesson, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and to do this meditation as I read it. We're going to feel those clouds brushing past our forehead, brushing past our cheek, brushing past our eyelids. I'm sitting here at the beach. It's quite early in the morning and the sun hasn't quite hit me, so I can feel the cool air. That's what the clouds are going to feel like when we do this in our meditation. For now, let's keep reading. If you are doing the exercises properly, you will begin to feel a sense of being lifted up and carried ahead. Your little effort and small determination call on the power of the universe to help you, and God Himself will raise you from darkness into light. You are in accord with His will. You cannot fail because your will is His. Let's talk about it. God's will and your will are all the same things, my friends. But just like the light has been hidden inside of us, our true will has been hidden by the will of the ego. Remember, the ego is not real. It's all an illusion. Only God's will is real. In our previous meditations, we have been asked to go deep inside of ourselves to find the light that is always there. But today's meditation is about lifting us up past the clouds. Remember, above the clouds, the sun is shining, so shut your mouth and quit your whining. That little verse has helped me so many times to look beyond the world, to look beyond my seeming problems, to know that the sun is always shining above the clouds. That's where we're going to go today, to get to the light of God. Let's keep reading. Have confidence in your Father today, and be certain He has heard you and answered you. You may not recognize His answer yet, but you can indeed be sure that it is given you, and you will yet receive it. Try, as you attempt to go through the clouds to the light, to hold this confidence in your mind. Try to remember that you are at last joining your will to God's. Try to keep the thought clearly in mind that what you undertake with God must succeed. Then let the power of God work in you and through you, that His will and yours be done. Let's talk about it. When we do our meditations, we ask God to lift us up beyond the worries and the problems and the concerns of this world. We ask God to lift us above the clouds to where the sun is shining. He will literally do that. We can trust in Him. For many of us, meditation is not an easy exercise. It is a discipline which we develop day by day. As we are faithful in these practices, we will get better at meditation. But God is always helping us along the way. even when we think that we're not getting to where we wish we could go in our meditation. God is always guiding us. One thing I know for sure, if we're putting too much effort into it, this effort actually works against us. We want to get the ego out of the way. We want to relax and allow the meditation to carry us. We're simply relaxing into God's loving arms and allowing Him to direct our meditation. Let's keep reading. In the shorter practice periods, which you will want to do as often as possible in view of the importance of today's idea to you and your happiness, remind yourself that your grievances are hiding the light of the world from your awareness. Remind yourself also that you are not searching for it alone and that you do know where to look for it. Say then, my grievances hide the light of the world in me. I cannot see what I have hidden, yet I want to let it be revealed to me for my salvation and the salvation of the world. Also, be sure to tell yourself, if I hold this grievance, the light of the world will be hidden from me. If you are tempted to hold anything against anyone today, for our longer practice periods, first thing in the morning, last thing just before we go to sleep, we are asked to read or listen to all of today's lesson and then to go past those clouds to find the light that is in every single one of us. For our shorter practice periods, we may want to continue with setting the timer on our watch or our phone so that we are consistent in keeping these practices going. Here we are asked to do these practices as often as possible. I would encourage you to make a decision at the beginning of the day. How often do you want to do these practices? Do you want to do them every 15 minutes? Maybe that's not reasonable. You have a busy day ahead of you. Maybe you want to do them every half hour. In any case, set the schedule for yourself so that you are sure to work these practices into your day. In these practices, we want to remind ourselves that our grievances are hiding the light of the world from our awareness. We also want to remind ourselves that we are not doing this alone. We have a whole group of mighty companions that are learning to let go of every single grievance so that we are able to let God's joy, God's beauty, and God's light shine freely from us. We also want to remind ourselves that God is always with us. God is helping us along the path, and God is going to show us where to look, how to find that light, and where to look for it. We start those shorter practice periods by saying, my grievances hide the light of the world in me. I cannot see what I have hidden, yet I want to let it be revealed to me for my salvation and the salvation of the world. You may want to tailor this by saying something like, Dear God, I know that I cannot do this work alone. Help me to find my grievances so that I can let them go. I recognize that they are hiding the light in me. Please reveal them to me so that I can accept my oneness with you and all of creation, and I can play my part in the salvation of the world. If you are struggling with a grievance of any kind today, we simply state, if I hold this grievance, the light of the world will be hidden from me. I would encourage you to write that on sticky notes, post them all over your home, all over your workplace, all over your car, to remind yourself of this all day long. Now, if you would like to close your eyes, let's take a couple of deep breaths, allow ourselves to completely relax, and we'll do the meditation together. Very quietly now, with your eyes closed. Try to let go of all the content that generally occupies your consciousness. Think of your mind as a vast circle surrounded by a layer of heavy, dark clouds. You can only see the clouds because you seem to be standing outside the circle and quite apart from it. From where you stand, you can see no reason to believe. There is a brilliant light hidden by the clouds. The clouds seem to be the only reality. They seem to be all there is to see. Therefore, you do not attempt to go through them and pass them, which is the only way in which you would be really convinced of their lack of substance. We will make this attempt today. After you have thought, about the importance of what you are trying to do for yourself and the world. Try to settle down in perfect stillness, remembering only how much you want to reach the light in you today. Now, determine to go past the clouds. Reach out and touch them in your mind. Brush them aside with your hand. Feel them resting on your cheeks and forehead and eyelids as you go through them. Go on. Clouds cannot stop you. If you are doing the exercises properly, you will begin to feel a sense of being lifted up and carried ahead. Your little effort and small determination call on the power of the universe to help you, and God Himself will raise you from darkness into light. You are in accord with His will. You cannot fail because your will is His. Have confidence in your Father today and be certain that He has heard you and answered you. You may not recognize His answer yet, but you can indeed be sure that it is given you and you will yet receive it. Try, as you attempt to go through the clouds to the light, to hold this confidence in your mind. Try to remember that you are at last joining your will to God. Try to keep the thought clearly in mind that what you undertake with God must succeed. Then let the power of God work in you and through you, that His will and yours be done. And now, if you would like to turn off this video and allow yourself to just drift above the clouds as that light within you grows brighter and brighter. Thanks so much for listening right until the end, my friends. If you enjoyed today's video, please share the love. Tell someone about these videos. Encourage them to start at lesson 1 and only do 1 lesson a day. Are you ready for our special treat? Thanks to my friend Susan from Alaska for these incredible pictures of the coconuts being chopped from the tree and then being lowered to the ground. Very cool.
Muchas
My
gracias.
grievances hide the light of the world in me. Let the grievances go today, my friend. Let your light shine forth for all the world to see. I love you.